Hey, what is going on, my pretty babies? You are checking out an all new The RCWR Show. I am, of course, Lee Sanders, 411 Mania columnist, and I thank you for checking out this episode for Thursday of March 10th, 2022, as we are here talking about WOW Women of Wrestling episode 27. It is the lost episode of episode 27. Can you believe it? Only a couple of more of these episodes. We've only got at this point 6 weeks to go. That's 6 more episodes. And then that is it until the fall when WOW Women of Wrestling comes back with all new episodes. I'm pumped. I am very pumped. I know there are a lot of you guys that are pretty pumped as well. I really have been appreciating you guys that's gone out of your way, whether you've shared, you've liked my WOW coverage, or you've hit me up with a DM, or you emailed me. I appreciate you guys. Or hell, maybe you're just a lurker and you honestly just go in, you check my stuff out just to see what I have to say and everything, and then you keep it moving along. Appreciate you guys that take the time out and have been checking out my WOW coverage. And I cannot wait until this fall when the guys are back with all new episodes. Now, since last we were on the air, there's been a major development as far as how you guys can go about seeing all of the great action from Women of Wrestling. As right now, you can get free tickets to a WOW live taping. You heard me right. Right now, you can get your free tickets to a WOW live TV taping. They're going to be going down. Now, look, the tickets are available right now for those of you that are interested. And I'll give you all the details. I'll tell you what, I'll give you the details. I'm going to tease you right now. How about I give you the details later on during the show, right? That way you can kind of stick around. Right now, we could just pretty much dive into the action, yeah? But stick around. I'll tell you guys all that information and whether or not I'm going to be checking it out and all of that good stuff. But since last we were on the air, they made the announcement that WOW live TV tapings are going to be in effect later this summer or right at the start of summer. And you can get free tickets to it right now. So, tease you guys with that. Look, episode 27 of Women of Wrestling, pretty freaking badass. I love this because if there was one biggest takeaway I had from this respected episode is the fact of this is what happens when you cross Sophia Lopez. Sophia Lopez, you will feel her wrath and she will make sure you pay. Oh, you will pay. It is going to be expensive when you have to pay. That is, if you want out of your business contract relationship from Sophia Lopez. So, as we all know, Tessa Blanchard, early on in the season of Women of Wrestling, pretty much from midway there, we saw Tessa Blanchard acquire the services of Sophia Lopez to basically ensure that for all intents and purposes, she remains the WOW Women's Champion. But as we ultimately saw, she would get dethroned by the Beast. And we have since seen Tessa Blanchard trying to do everything she can, hook or by crook, to get back that WOW Women's Championship. And as we talked about here on last week's show, Tessa Blanchard reached a pivotal moment in her career here in WOW where she decided, okay, you know what? This whole business arrangement with Sophia Lopez, I can now really see truly that Sophia Lopez is just really looking out for herself and whatever fits best her interests and all that. She's not so much concerned about making sure I'm getting my hook up, right? So she's putting all the blame on Sophia Lopez, yet at the same time, the devil is in the details. The devil is in the details. So, to quote one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs, nobody's fault but mine, right? So, on one hand, yeah, Sophia Lopez, but on the other hand, come on now, you're the one that at the end of the day has to put the John Hancock there on those documents. All right, but in either case, Tessa's been feeling sour. She gets out of this deal with Sophia Lopez, And we saw that as part of getting out of her contract from last week's episode, Tessa Blanchard was put in a match in place of Jungle Girl. Remember? Last episode, it was supposed to be Jungle Girl facing the Beast for the Wild Women's Championship. But for whatever respected reason, Jungle Girl nowhere to be found. Nobody knows what's going on with her. And that was a great big old question mark going into this episode. And sadly, it was not addressed what was going on with Jungle Girl. We still don't know the status of Jungle Girl right now. We don't know if somebody had pulled a Samoa Joe over there in Impact and pretty much put her in the back trunk of a vehicle and drove off with her. We don't know what the heck is going on right now, but we need to know soon. But Tessa Blanchard, after she got put in that match on episode 26 there, where she went up against, and that was a great rematch, by the way. That was a fantastic rematch with Reina Reyes. I loved it. That's the second time that the two of them locked up in the WoW universe there. So you're thinking, okay, well, Tessa Blanchard doing what she did right here, getting this win over Reina Reyes. Surely this now puts her one step closer to making the claim that she should be the new number one contender that should face the Beast for the Wild Championship, especially since Jungle Girl is now nowhere to be found. Whatever's going on with that, it is what it is. But as we saw on this episode, when you try to get away from Sophia Lopez, nah, my pretty babies, it's not as clear cut as you think it to be. As this episode kicked off with Sophia Lopez coming into the dressing room of Tessa Blanchard to let her know, hey, honey, you didn't read the fine print of your contract. Because had you read the contract that you made with me, bringing me on as your lawyer, handling all your legal affairs here in WoW, Women of Wrestling, you sadly missed the fine print that states straight up that at her discretion, at Sophia Lopez's discretion, there is a provision where if it's activated by Sophia Lopez, then at Sophia's discretion, she can choose an opponent to face Tessa Blanchard. That is one of the provisionals. And so Tessa Blanchard is hearing this and she's going, say what? And Sophia hands her the paperwork so she could see for herself. And Tessa Blanchard goes, okay, yeah, you know what? Whatever. You got me doing one more match for you. Okay, whatever. I know that was you, by the way, that did what you did last week, having me in that match against Reina Reyes and all that. Okay, so you're kind of putting the screws to me here a little bit. Okay, whatever. Who's my opponent? Tease you guys with that for just a hot little bit there. Let's keep rocking and rolling. First action on this episode 27 of Women of Wrestling, Malia Hosaka. She saw one-on-one action against Fire, aka Kiera Hogan. And yes, Adrenaline, Exodus, and Genesis, they were at ringside respectfully representing their partners there, representing their respected stables and all of that. This was a pretty short match. Honestly, bell rang off the break. Kiera Hogan, aka Fire, is pretty much bouncing right on Malaya Hosaka. I remember at one point during this match, when I say this match was extremely short, it really was extremely short. I'd be surprised if this match had actually went 3 minutes. That's how short this match was. But Fire coming in with such great tenacity, using her speed, agility and all that to her advantage, getting the pounce on Malaya Hosaka. And yeah, for a very good reason, because after all, Exodus, Genesis, that whole Exile stable, they did a serious number there on Diamante, aka Adrenaline. They did a serious number on her a couple of episodes back on WoW. And so this is all about Fire trying to go in there and get the big payback and everything. And she was on that behind with such great ease. Critical moment comes, though, where Exodus and Genesis, they tried distracting the referee. And when all of this is going on, I'm actually looking at my notes here. When all of this is going on, now there was a kick out by Fire. there was a kick out. I remember she was so good on the offense there. She did manage to get a cover on Hasakah, but I don't even think it was a 2 count. But at one point, Fire tosses Malaya out of the ring. And as that is going on, the referees, they get up and, not the referee, but I remember Exodus and Genesis, they get up on the apron. And the ref, he's trying to see what's going on with Malaya. And right as that's going on, you've got Exodus and Genesis. They decide to get the jump on Fire. They get the jump on her inside the ring. This pretty much had set up adrenaline once the referee had finally turned around to try to see what Fire was doing, right? Exodus and Genesis, they've already, they're looking all sweet and innocent. Referees now looking at Fire, trying to figure out what she's doing and everything. As Malia Hosaka is on the opposite side outside the ring there, we see Diamante, aka Adrenaline, she was on a crutch. You're looking at that crutch and you're going, okay, at some point that crutch is going to come into play. We just know that's basically a prop. Sure enough, yes, it did come into play as she took her crutch. Looks like she was faking her injury the entire time. She pretty much cracked Malaya Hosaka over the head with that bad boy. Because I remember Malaya did get back in the ring and she was getting ready to come after Fire when Adrenaline came in there and pretty much cracked her over the head, laid her out. Fire goes in for the cover, 1, 2, 3, and that's all she wrote. So the Wild Tag Champions getting a little bit of retribution there, at least for now, on Exile. But remember, Exile, especially if Malaya Hosaka can have it her way, she's going to do everything by any means necessary to ensure that Genesis and Exodus become the tag champions there. So this is, I would say, not done by a long shot just yet. Meanwhile, we get a Tessa Blanchard, Sophia Lopez recap. They did a beautiful job really laying it out, talking about that whole Lopez provision, all of that. Basically, this whole provision is, again, at Sophia Lopez's discretion, she can choose an opponent for Tessa Blanchard before Tessa gains a championship rematch. That opponent, who was going to be that opponent that Tessa Blanchard was going to have to face? Tessa was running around. She was trying to find out what the heck is going on there. And when she finally does find out who her opponent is, they really didn't reveal it, by the way, until we got to the main event match. If the name was dropped prior, I missed it in the one last frame that we saw where Tessa was chasing after Sophia, and Sophia's just pretty much laughing and making her exit with Serpentine and everything. But it was Venomous. Venomous is the opponent that she had to go through in the main event for this episode of WOW Women of Wrestling. More on that match in just a hot second. Meanwhile, we go back to Fire and Adrenaline. Fire and Adrenaline, they are now seen backstage in the locker room. They're ecstatic over the fact that they got some revenge there on Exile. And they're loving it when all of a sudden those twins, the Dixie Darlings, they come in there. And as they're chatting up with the Wild Tag Champions, one of them does a nice distraction to pretty much put the focus on her as she's conversing with Fire and Adrenaline, while the other Dixie twin there goes behind the tag champs, takes their tag titles, and then somehow is able to roll out of there without the titles ever being recognized as being jacked from the locker room there. I just was amazed how they pretty much did this. And look, this fits with their moniker. They love pulling pranks. They love a good rib. That's what it's all about, right? They love a good rib, pulling one on somebody. And look, if you got a problem with it, you can obviously see them in the ring, and hopefully after you beat that behind, you've put them in their place, and it's pretty much, yeah, don't ever do that again, right? Don't ever do that again. And then in some cases, if you lose, oh man, it's two times bad for you, right? Because you didn't get those comeuppance and everything. So obviously, fire and adrenaline. I would imagine next episode they're going to be going treasure hunting, trying to figure out where their tag titles are. There's pretty much your next instant Acme feud as the tag champions are going to try to school these girls and everything. So that should be a fun tag matchup to come on the next episode or episode after and everything. But those damn Dixie Darlings always pulling pranks left and right. Next up, Jesse Jones. Jesse from Kentucky. Jesse Jones. My girl, Jesse Jones. I love Jesse Jones. Jesse Bell. I love her to death. She was in action against a newcomer to the Wild Women of Wrestling roster and Cowgirl Casey Dakota. Cowgirl Casey Dakota. And I have got to give Casey Dakota a lot of freaking props. First of all, I was quite taken back by how long this match went because I just felt, wow, for a newcomer here to the Wild Women of Wrestling universe, we're giving this Casey girl a lot of screen time here. What the hell? But the longer that this match went, the more that you really were able to appreciate her in-ring work. And she and Jesse Jones, they clicked so extremely so well together. First off, I'm seeing Cowgirl Casey Dakota come out. I'm going, wait a minute. So we've got basically one country girl taking on another country girl. I couldn't help but automatically say, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? I'm like literally going in that direction. And I tell you what, Jesse Jones, she had a decent amount of offense that was in this one. She put on a freaking clinic on Casey Dakota. I love how she just kept going for that arm bar that Jesse Jones, and when it counted the most, she was she was putting some torque. She was putting some torque on those freaking arm bars and just the overall psychology and just, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to focus on this particular limb, and I'm just going to keep working it. I'm going to keep working it, and I'm either going to break that SOB off or I'm going to make you tap out, or it's going to be both. Take your pick. I just love that whole psychology that went about here in this match. But then also at the same time, Casey Dakota was able to get in quite a good amount of offense here against Jesse Jones. A couple of times there, you're looking at this and you're going, whoa, 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 whoa. This really could kind of go either way here, because this doesn't, of all the new women that I've seen during these lost episodes of WoW, the one that really I just say, you know what, this girl is on this something. She's got something special right here. I'm really digging her. Casey Dakota. Now, she lost this match against Jesse Jones. I felt this match maybe went about 10, 11 minutes, give or take. I wouldn't be surprised if it was around that range, because it was that damn good of a match. Even in losing to Jesse Jones, just the fashion in which it was just so competitive. You feel where I'm coming from? It was a very competitive matchup. Jesse Jones did a phenomenal job and really making Casey Dakota come off as, all right, even though she might be new to WoW, she did a fantastic job in establishing this woman in a way where she ain't no Johnny come lately. And her costume may look a little bit kind of comical, doing the whole cowgirl gimmick and all that, but this girl can go. And I gotta give flowers to cowgirl Casey Dakota, because I actually did some research on her. That's how impressed I was with her. And plus, I like to know, who these women are and everything. And it turns out Casey Dakota, for all intents and purposes, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but for all intents and purposes, cowgirl Casey Dakota is not a full-time wrestler. She is not a full-time wrestler. Right down to the point. Her real name is Sarah Stallman. Again, her real name is Sarah Stallman. And as far as professional wrestling goes, this was here's what's interesting. Here's what's interesting. As far as professional wrestler goes, the only people that trained her was Selena Majors, Malaya Hosaka, and Jesse Jones of Women of Wrestling. I say that because her resume screams singing, voice acting. She's an athlete. She's an actor. She does a lot of stunt work. That's what it freaking screams. She screams theater, stage production, all of that. So just the fact that you had those handful of women that I just mentioned that had a strong hand in, right, she already had some of the elements, but the fact that they were able to take that and and mold her the way that they were able to mold her, I gotta say, of all the new faces in WoW, she really, really, you gotta go out of your way. If you didn't watch the episode yet, you really gotta go out of your way and check her out. And just having your mind, wait a minute, so you didn't do anything else prior. You ain't do no WWE. You ain't do no, Austin Idol school. You didn't freaking go hit up Ricky Morton school or anything. You pretty much got your wrestling in there with Selena Majors, Jesse Jones, and Malaya Hosaka. Those were the ones that pretty much had trained you, and you have your first match on WoW. Nice full circle there too. You have your first match on WoW, and it's against one of your trainers. I mean, Jessie was telling the story for the most part. She pretty much did most of the work in this, but this girl held her own. She really did. I was quite impressed, to the point I really hope that David McLean and crew, assuming that she's still out there in the California area, I hope that they continue to work with her because she's that damn good. She is that damn good. Very impressed. Very seriously, very very impressed. Meanwhile, Holidead taking on Razor of the Psycho Sisters. I like the fact that in regards to this match, even though you had Princess Aussie, you had the Voodoo Siren, you had Mesmeriah, and you had Fury, they're all at ringside, but they don't really interfere. They don't really, no shenanigans. And you're going, man, because remember, this is pretty much following up from 2 episodes ago when you had that epic brawl that was just erupting all throughout the fans, over by the concession memorabilia area, out onto the streets, on the sidewalk there and everything. And so you really were looking at this one going, okay, how long is it going to last? Truly, this singles match between freaking Holidead and Razor before everything just explodes and all the girls just start going at it again, like 2 episodes ago. In regards to episode, what was it? We're on 27 now, so 25, I believe it was episode 20, 24, 25. It was so, and it was just a straight up one-on-one matchup, but a damn good one-on-one matchup between these girls. I love how you've got both of these, when you really stop and think about it, almost within reason, mirror images and Holidead and Razor, right? And I love how they pretty much were matching each other up. It was so equal of a match. You really were looking at this, man, this really could go either way, couldn't it? It really could. Razor coming out, losing to Holidead, as that wasn't enough. Insult to injury had to be added. And I guess when it's all said and done, Team Holidead, they're still kind of sour rather, from what happened a couple of episodes ago. Post match, Psycho Sisters, they're thinking, okay, we're done. Next thing you know, Holidead, all of them, a brawl had pretty much erupted. And in this brawl, as far as who got the upper hand, it ended up being the Psycho Sisters, right down to the point. The devastating beatdown that they put on Princess Aussie, Holidead, and Siren. They pretty much set up Princess Aussie real good. They spray painted the hell out of her face with this green green spray. So she had this green, spray paint all on her face. They sprayed her body. They pretty much put a P and a S, Psycho Sisters, laid her out, right? So it's nice that they followed up from that epic feud, as obviously these personalities here in these respective factions, it is not over for these girls by a long shot, and there's only one way. I'm curious to see how this is, what the big payoff of this is going to be, how everything is going to culminate, because this goes beyond trying to be tag champions. It goes beyond that. This is one of those type of rivalries where maybe this needs to be contested inside of a steel cage, or maybe you have a last woman standing, or that would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be kind of interesting to do a six woman, last woman standing? Wouldn't that be kind of interesting? Kind of at the same time have your three opponents down and out to not answer a three count. I'm kind of thinking outside the box. You guys can call me kind of crazy for thinking that way, but you can't just regular six woman tag match. To my point, you got to have a really big payoff to this one. Main event match we go. Venomous taking on Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard, talk about a stacked deck here. Remember, Venomous, she said a couple of episodes of WoW, into WoW, yo, give me Beast, give me Tessa Blanchard, give me Serpentine, give me the Jesse Jones. I don't want no small fries. I don't want no appetizers anymore. Give me the main course. And remember what I said, if not on the last WoW reaction episode, the episode before, I said to you guys, yo, how badass would it be if a scenario were to come about where Sophia Lopez maybe reached out to Venomous and said, look, stroke the ego, but it's really just about helping out your bottom dollar. Hey, I like what you've been doing. I've been keeping my eye on you. You're talking about how you want to get to the championship. I can help you get to the championship. You scratch my back, and I'll definitely scratch yours. Look at what was going down here between Venomous and Tessa Blanchard, right? You would just like to believe that I might be on to something here as far as Venomous with Sophia Lopez. We'll have to wait and see here. But this was all about size and strength versus athleticism and agility when you really looked at this match. Kind of short for all intents and purposes. I thought Venomous held herself pretty well against Tessa Blanchard. Thought the pacing of the match and everything was pretty good. Tessa Blanchard settling for a freaking DQ finish. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Tessa Blanchard, this was so hilarious. I couldn't believe this was a DQ as well. I could not believe that this was a DQ because Tessa Blanchard basically, she got so frustrated in regards to this match. And I thought she was holding her own pretty good. And the crowd, oh my God, the crowd, they were booing the hell out of Venomous while cheering the hell out of Tessa Blanchard. So it's pretty obvious. Like, yeah, Tessa, look, we don't really, but you know what? You're our girl here tonight because we don't like Venomous. We can't stand her, right? I think Venomous has that, it's kind of interesting. I think Venomous has that, not that go away heat. I don't think it's go away heat. I think it is more, yeah, we don't really care about your character. That's the vibe that I've kind of been picking up from these past couple of episodes. That's honestly the vibe I've been getting. I don't know if you guys kind of picked up that same vibe as well, but that's kind of the vibe that I've been getting. And I think she's been embracing, however the fans may feel about her. And she's just been going in there, putting in some pretty solid good work as far as I'm concerned. But Tessa Blanchard called herself going to the outside of the ring, and apparently there was a bag of quarters or something. She grabbed a fistful of quarters. Wish it was the movie, but no, she literally grabbed a fistful of quarters, and she just pretty much cold clocks the hell out of Venomous with it. So Venomous wins via DQ. Venomous wins via DQ. Remember, that provision there. Remember that little stipulation in Tessa Blanchard's contract. She has to have a one last match before the championship match, right? And so you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute here. By Tessa Blanchard doing what she did, and Venomous now winning via DQ, does this now mean that these two women swap? Because Venomous has been undefeated thus far in her WoW career. That's a very interesting, you really got to stop and think about that, because what does this mean now for Tessa Blanchard going forward? Does Tessa Blanchard now have to go to the back of the line? That's where that, okay, fine print, what's going on here? Does Tessa Blanchard truly get a shot at Beast for the championship? Or since she lost this, is it now a case where, you know, Sophia Lopez, what we've been talking about, her character, she's a couple of moves ahead in this game of chess. One person is thinking, in the form of Tessa Blanchard, one move ahead, but Sophia Lopez is thinking 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of you. So very interesting dynamics that we got going on here. Uh, and then the $1 million question: what is going on with Jungle Girl? What is the status of Jungle Girl? Did Venomous maybe take out Jungle Girl? Is it possible that maybe, yeah, we don't know. And I tell you what, I would not be surprised if Sophia Lopez had worked out some type of a deal. I'm doubling down. I would not be surprised if she worked out some type of a deal with Serpentine. And I like that Venomous. Let me try to do something. It makes all the sense in the world when you really stop and think about it. So, but some interesting little cliffhanger notes there for wow, women of wrestling. And look, Venomous, if she's slick about it, hey, look, it took a former WoW champion. She couldn't even beat me cleanly in the middle of the ring. She had to resort to cheating because she knows I was gonna freaking destroy her. She knows I was gonna beat that booty, right? And hey, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, a win is a win. But Tessa, trust me, I could see them definitely crossing paths again. But also at the same time, if Tessa is trying to continue to pursue the championship, Venomous can definitely, no, you got to get past me first. And then, but what about Jungle Girl? What happens with Jungle Girl? Does Jungle Girl still have her championship opportunity, or did she lose it? There's still a lot that's in there that is going to need at least the next 2 episodes of ironing out. So hopefully we'll be able to establish that in due time. Meanwhile, that pretty much is it for WoW Women of Wrestling, at least as far as episode 27 goes. Remember, I was telling you guys about that news earlier about tickets to WoW Women of Wrestling. Yes, you can be a part of the action. You can be featured on TV as WoW is going to be doing their thing at the Gorgeous Globe Theater in downtown Los Angeles. The first event is going to be going down Thursday, May 5th, 7 p.m. Second event, Friday, May 6th, 7 p.m. And the third and final event, Saturday afternoon, May 7th at 2 p.m. Seating is extremely limited. If you're interested right now, go register for your free WoW TV taping tickets. Head on over to WOWE.com/tickets. One more time, that's WOWE.com/tickets. And good luck to you, man. Good luck to you. And it's cool how they got it set up there on the site. You pretty much put in your name, you put in your email, you put in your phone number, and you put in the dates as far as, okay, which show do you want? Or, if you think you can make all those shows, go ahead and do that. Am I going to be going? May, it's so close around the corner. And to be perfectly honest with you, me and the wifey, we already are making plans, because at that point, that would be, excuse me, that would be a month after Awesome Con, because we're going to be covering, unless I hear differently otherwise, we're going to be covering the 2022 Awesome Con at the nation's capital in DC. And shortly after that, we're going to go on a vacation and properly celebrate our 1 year wedding anniversary. So, as much as I would like to do something like this, all our time, our resources is pretty much going into those events respectfully. So, I'm going to be missing out on this one sadly, but I definitely will try to check out the next one. Hopefully, now that this pandemic is almost in the rearview mirror, it's going to get to a point where, because I know at one point David McLean was talking about how very interested he was in taking WoW on the road, taking it to various cities, right down to the point, there were not only polls, but you were able to go to the WoW site and let them know, hey, we'd like it if you could come to this city and pretty much all of that. So I would like to believe that that's something that he is definitely still exploring. And as time progresses, right, this pandemic more in the rearview mirror, right, we'll have to wait and see. But those are the tapings for what's going to be of the new season that's going to be coming this fall, man. I am so pumped. I'm so excited. I know you guys are as well. So that is going to do it for now, because other than that, as far as any additional WoW Women of Wrestling news, nothing else has gone down since last we were on the air with you guys. Everything is nice and quiet. Yeah, everything is nice and quiet. Nothing has been going on since last we were on air with you guys. But for sure, anything breaks, I will definitely, WoW related wise, I'll definitely be here talking about it here on the show with you guys. But I can't wait to see this new season. I can't wait to see who all is coming back, the new faces. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening. Seriously. And when you go on the website, you see a lot of your favorites. So it's a good sign. You see a lot of your favorites, but you also see a decent amount of new faces, and you're going, huh? Somebody who I haven't seen in a while, and as we get ready to wrap it up, exclusively during these lost episodes, who we haven't seen in a while? Nikki Krampus. We haven't seen her in a good minute. I remember when she used to be, yeah. I'm pretty sure, because I'm looking on their website right now, and I'm going, Krampus. Why does that name sound familiar? And I'm looking. Yeah, the Norwegian Nightmare. Remember her? We have not seen her in a good minute since it's come to these lost episodes, man. So very curious what's going to be going on when this new season gets ready to drop. Till Piper is another one. Remember that? When it was still on Access TV, we were seeing some stuff with Till Piper, and then the next thing you know, pretty much that's all she wrote. Yeah, a couple of new faces though that's in here. I think what we'll do is on the next episode, we'll show some love to some of these new faces, go over their profiles and all that, and of course, if I'm able to establish they did some work elsewhere, I now's the time that we can go over some of these new faces, like the same kind of love that we showed there to Cowgirl Casey Dakota. We'll show that same kind of love to some of these new faces that's part of the WoW roster and everything. And I like the fact that they still got the Lioness, Nikita Lyons, aka Faith the Lioness. I love that they still got her on the pages as well. That's pretty badass. All right, so that is going to do it. Episode 27 is now in the books. And with that, we've got episode 28, then we got 29, 30, 31, 32. We got 5 more episodes to go, and then we're going to be done until the fall, man. So hopefully you keep it right here. Keep checking out all the great content that we do for you guys. If you made it this far, please do me a huge favor, especially if you appreciated this coverage of Women of Wrestling. Only takes 2 seconds. Button. When you do that, you can supercharge content such as this, a more wider audience be able to access it. When you hit that like, you're telling YouTube, hey, not only do I like this, but I want for you guys to recommend this to others to check out. So please do that, especially if you like me, you appreciate the work that I do. It really helps me out a ton, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Also, feel free to subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. That is going to do it. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And until next go round, I am wishing all of you all to be safe. And most importantly, my pretty babies, be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next go round next Thursday. 9:45 p.m. Eastern for WOW Women of Wrestling coverage. Take care, y'all. Peace.